He doesn't give a damn. This is all about trying to destroy our government. He doesn't actually give a damn, Charlie, because straight after leaving the United Kingdom, he went to Ukraine. He went to a war zone. Then last week, or in the past few months, he went to Mexico, a particular state in Mexico where the US State Department warns against travel there because of the kidnapping threat. He's gone to Nigeria, the 9th most dangerous country in Africa, and he's gone to Colombia, one of the most dangerous countries in the world. So this isn't about security. It's about the destruction of our country and our monarchy.
I know that this subject gets you going, but no one complained when he went to fight in Afghanistan, did they? They saw him as a hero. But now, because he's had a spat with his family, which is not uncommon, people do argue with their families. They do have arguments. And you know what? They will patch things up. I can pretty much guarantee that because all families...
well, why are sources close to Prince William this week telling me, Charlie, over my dead body, will there be a reconciliation? Okay.
Let's be honest. Family arguments aren't rare. Everyone fights with their siblings. Everyone clashes with their parents. And normally, things simmer down eventually. But when the family in question is Britain's monarchy, the most scrutinized family on earth, the stakes are different. Prince Harry's fallout with his father and brother isn't just about personal squabbles. It's become political, cultural, and symbolic.
Breaking right now, growing pressure for King Charles to strip Prince Harry and Meghan Markle of their HRH titles, not only because of the disastrous interview on the British Bashing Corporation, which the Beep has had to apologise for, but because Prince Harry has now been caught up in 2 major news scandals in the past 24 hours. One connected to his second African charity, African Parks, which is in huge trouble. The other connected to his latest court case. And Prince William, well, he's made his decision on this already. On the chopping block, Prince William plans to exact vengeance on vile Harry and Meghan as king, with the prince having plans to draw a definitive line under the Sussex saga as soon as he has the authority to do so. That is according to sources close to the Prince of Wales, who said that Harry and Meghan's behaviour has been absolutely vile. They added that Harry's unhinged BBC interview made it clear he has no interest in reconciling, and they said that William's position had gained renewed urgency following the interview. So let me bring in my superstar panel now. Charlie Sansom is a free speech advocate and political commentator, and Steph, the altar nerd, is a royal YouTuber. So, Steph, what do you make of this? Prince William becoming increasingly furious about the damage that Harry and Meghan are doing to the royal family, but for some reason, Charles seems to want to allow them to keep their titles.
I'm not surprised. The reports are coming through that Prince William is increasingly getting miffed off with Hazza and Megsy. It's understandable to a certain extent that King Charles doesn't want to do anything about it or tackle the issue because he's got bigger fish to fry, you know, with his cancer treatment and what he's going through health-wise at the moment. So sounds a little bit morbid, but I think he's just waiting for Prince William to ascend to the throne, for Prince William then to have enough strength and power to deal with the Sussexes. The new reports that are coming through, though, is not only is that Prince William is now hell-bent on removing their titles, but also as well potentially looking at creating a new letters patent to remove the Sussexes from the line of succession, which I think would be, yes, definitely a good thing to do for the Sussexes as well. Remove them from line of succession.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it would require an act of parliament, Steph, but who cares? Who cares? Because it would be the most popular act of parliament in recent history. The public now overwhelmingly want these two not just stripped of their HRH titles, but also removed from the line of succession. There are also serious question marks about why the hell Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet should be there, given we don't know the truth about their birth. But actually, even more important, you've got their dad saying, well, they can never return to the United Kingdom. Well, I mean, I'm sorry, you cannot have a prince and a princess in the line of succession with broad American accents who are banned from the country that one day they could potentially, in theory, rule. It's ludicrous.
Right now, the feud is being painted not just as Harry walking away, but as Harry actively trying to destroy the monarchy. That's a line his critics are hammering, that this isn't about safety or about Meghan being mistreated, or even about freedom. It's about tearing down the institution that gave him his entire identity. And the timing couldn't be worse. King Charles is dealing with cancer, the monarchy itself is weaker than it's been in decades, and William is essentially being positioned as a clean-up king who will eventually have to deal with a Harry and Meghan problem head-on.
It is ludicrous for him to turn around and say, oh, I'll never be able to take my family to the UK ever again. Yet for Archie's 6th birthday, they went to Jalisco in Mexico, which the US and the UK government actually advised people, don't even go there. Don't even bother due to the crime and kidnapping that's going on there. So Jalisco's safe, UK not so much. Go figure, right? But yeah, the reports previous to all this was that the royal family wanted to remove the titles, but they were scared of the backlash from the public. They didn't know how the public would react. Well, Hazard doing that awful, disastrous BBC interview last week really has done us a lot of favours, because the royal family since have seen the public backlash to that BBC interview and now know that if they do take the titles and take them out of the line of succession, they're not going to get that backlash that they feared.
Charlie, I mean, it's utterly incredible just looking at the stats, even for Harry's BBC interview, right? So it was broadcast on YouTube to over 1 million viewers, which is obviously massive. But look at that, 10,000 likes, 38,000 dislikes. And if you know anything about YouTube, that's disastrous. Like probably, Steph, your videos, I imagine, get about 98, 99% likes. You know, the problem is, Charlie, Harry has lost the public with this interview well and truly. And this was all him. You know, like in the Oprah interview, for example, Charlie, I guess people could blame Meghan. She was sitting there. Maybe it was a bit awkward. This was all him, Charlie. Even trying to suggest that members of the royal family are conspiring with the government to get him killed. I mean, it's crazy talk.
That interview, and I didn't feel negatively towards him.
Really?
So
Did you feel sorry for him?
I felt like there may be some truth in some of the stuff that he was saying. Yeah.
Well, you think they want him dead?
I wouldn't go that far, but I think
that's what he just said.
I think there might be some game playing there when it comes to royal protection, because whether you want to remove his HRH or his royal status is redundant. You can't do it.
But why should he receive security? In all seriousness, why should he receive security when he was warned, you're leaving, you're no longer providing service to this nation? Indeed, he's doing totally the opposite, Charlie. He is trying to destroy our monarchy, yet he wants us to pay for his security. No, you're a rich man living in the United States of America. Pay for it yourself.
No, I disagree with you completely, because he's born into the life. People that serve the state, let's take political figures, for example. Former prime ministers, do they still get protection?
Yes, for the rest of their life.
Right. And how long are they in office for, like on average?
Well, Liz Truss was for 6 weeks.
Okay, but on average, maybe 5 to 10 years. Right, but they get protection for life.
Yes, but they're living in the United Kingdom.
Dan, the point is that he's a prince, like it or not. He's born into state service, like it or not. He doesn't have a choice.
He's not providing any state service. I mean, Steph, why don't you come and encounter Charlie on this?
Yeah, because in a way, for me, you're comparing apples and oranges, Charlie. When a person becomes prime minister, you know, they know the ins and outs of the job, and whether they're forced to resign or they're voted out, you know, there is a tacit agreement that they then get protection for the rest of their lives.
Right now, they're cornered. Their reputations in the UK are in tatters. Their charities are under scrutiny. Their media projects have lost steam. And even in the US, their star power has faded. Every time Harry speaks, he seems to dig the hole deeper. King Charles doesn't want to make a move, partly because of his health, partly because he's naturally cautious.
When it comes to Hazard, it was an absolute unprecedented moment that he quit the royal family. He left. He wanted to move to America. He wanted to become a private citizen and all that malarkey, right, with what he said when he left. And you can't quit a job and then think that you can still have all the trappings of it.
Sure you can. Sure
You can.
No,
and
you can't.
even then,
No,
hang
and
on
he
a
was
minute, because he's still
warned.
getting the security.
No.
He's making out that he's not getting any security whatsoever. All he has to do is go to Ravik 28 days beforehand and say,
Yeah.
right, this is when I'm coming over, this, that, and the other, and then they
Exactly.
decide the level
If he
of
is in
security
the
that
United
they're gonna
Kingdom,
get.
Charlie, if he is in the United Kingdom for any form of event which is connected to national service, or if there has been any type of specific threat against him, which is an independently verified threat, he will receive security. What's more, King Charles offered him the run of Buckingham Palace, where he would be fully protected. He turned it down. He chose to go and stay with one of his posh, rich mates in Chelsea in an £8 million apartment, and he ordered Deliveroo, which is, by the way, if you are at all worried about your security, you don't order Deliveroo. It's like rule 101. So actually, he doesn't give a damn. He doesn't give a damn. This is all about trying to destroy our government. He doesn't actually give a damn, Charlie, because straight after leaving the United Kingdom, he went to Ukraine, he went to a war zone. Then last week, or in the past few months, he went to Mexico, a particular state in Mexico where the US State Department warns against travel there because of the kidnapping threat. He's gone to Nigeria, the 9th most dangerous country in Africa, and he's gone to Colombia, one of the most dangerous countries in the world. So this isn't about security, it's about the destruction of our country and our monarchy.
But William is playing the long game. And once as king, it looks increasingly likely that he'll bring the hammer down. The bigger question is whether Harry realizes how dire the situation has become. Because at some point, the security debates, the interviews, the charity scandals, they all fade into one headline: Prince Harry versus the monarchy. And it looks like the monarchy is winning. This saga shows just how far things have unraveled.
I know that this subject gets you going, but no one complained when he went to fight in Afghanistan, did they? They saw him as a hero. But now, because he's had a spat with his family, which is not uncommon, people do argue with their families. They do have arguments. And you know what? They will patch things up. I can pretty much guarantee that, because all families...
Why are sources close to Prince William this week telling me, Charlie, over my dead body will there be a reconciliation? Okay. Why is Piers Morgan reporting that his sources are saying that Prince William has said he would rather shoot himself than reconcile with Harry?
Let's go back to the point, right? Brothers argue, fathers and sons argue, but the point is that people don't want to protect him because he decided to leave, right? I think that's
no. That's not true. You argue. It wasn't about that. You can have arguments with your family. It's very, very different, Charlie, when you go public and you accuse your family, who have a very important national role, and you accuse them of doing terrible things.
Why doesn't he get protection?
Racism.
He does.
No,
he does. Charlie, he does get protection. Again, Prince Hazard is really, really good at trying to manipulate the narrative. He's learned a lot from Megxit. Tries to make out that he don't get any security whatsoever.
Yeah, he doesn't get guaranteed
security when he comes to the UK. But since Megxit, every single time they've come to the UK, by our own public knowledge, has anything happened to them? Has anything close happened to them? No, not at all.
Yeah, he doesn't have guaranteed security, Charlie. He has to go through a process. And by the way, it is worth pointing out that he was always warned of the consequences of this if you decide to go in the manner that you've gone. And his family never wanted that. It's one of the reasons why they wanted to keep him in the tent, and they worked so hard to find lots of ways, like, could we find a role for you in Canada? Could we find a role for you in South Africa? Could you find a role for you in Australia? It was because of the security issue. However, I will just stress again, this isn't about the fact that he's fallen out with his family. It's about the fact that he has gone public to the world and tried to destroy the monarchy with lies about racism, with lies about his brother being a bully, with lies about his father. And that's a very different thing. It's a very different thing.
That's so irrelevant to... Yeah, but I raised it because that's the context in which people talk about it in. Removing his HRH status and making him no longer a prince won't change the fact that he was born a prince. No one's ever going to call him Harry Windsor or Harry Wales or anything else. They're going to call him Prince Harry for the rest of his life. Now, one thing that I will say about the pair of you, having debated this with you for a moment, is that you're both quite happy for people like Tony Blair to get lifelong protection, but not Prince Harry. Let that sink in for a
Correct.
moment. You're quite happy for Tony Blair to get protection.
Well, no, I think
an illegal
I think the current
but you won't
setup.
defend the
No,
prince who went to that
I'm
war to fight for
totally
us.
satisfied with the current process, which is that he applies every time he wants to come to the United Kingdom, and then there is an independent decision made about whether he
Does
needs
Tony
security.
Blair apply when he's
No,
abroad?
but he lives in the United Kingdom. And can I also say, when you've brought up Afghanistan, right? The threat to Prince Harry over Afghanistan is because in Spare, his sick money-making autobiography, he decided to reveal his Al-Qaeda kill count, which goes against, by the way, all of the sort of code of being in the army and military code, and that's why he's under threat.
No, the war he was in, he was under threat in a war zone. Let's not, let's
But
focus
he's
on
talking about why he's
in the
under
backdrop
threat
of VE
now.
Day. In the backdrop of VE Day, you're quite happy for a prince to go and fight the war, but when he comes home, he still shouldn't be protected, despite the fact that he can not ever not be a prince.
Well, no, I mean, Princess Anne doesn't have full-time royal security. Princess Eugenie and Beatrice don't have full-time security. There's arguments for Prince Andrew to have his full-time security removed. People need to be protected when there is a clear and present threat against them. And as Steph points out, Harry is when there is that threat.
A family fight became a global spectacle. A quest for freedom became a PR disaster. And a prince who once embodied duty now finds himself branded as a traitor by much of his own country. The irony is that Harry's initial complaints about press intrusion, about mental health struggles, about Meghan being targeted, weren't entirely wrong. But by pushing too far, by going scorched earth on his own family, he's lost credibility. And when you lose credibility, even genuine concerns start looking like manipulation. The tragedy here is that reconciliation now looks impossible. William's stance is hardening. Charles is too ill and too cautious to bridge the gap. And Harry, stuck in California, keeps doubling down on the narrative that he's a victim. But the public's not buying it anymore. And in the court of public opinion, that might be the final nail in the coffin.